The playoffs are always going to be unpredictable. Every single season, we don't know what's going to happen. There's going to be a shocking team. There's going to be upsets. There's going to be dominant performances. All of the narratives are birthed from the playoffs. Every single agenda you've seen pushed throughout this season was created in last year's playoffs. We will see dramatic rating changes. Players and teams will be looked onto entirely differently. And at the end of this, a new champion will be crowned in the NFL. And it all starts here. Wild Card Weekend, the most unpredictable week in the NFL. But it's not unpredictable for me. I know just exactly what's going to happen this wildcard weekend, and after it, you could look back and check on it. Right here, right now, I will give you my wildcard weekend predictions. 1. Eagles versus Packers. The Eagles have been rolling all season, and they boast a 14-3 record and welcome a solid 7 seed in the Packers, for a matchup that's pretty solid considering the seeding. These teams met each other in week 1, resulting in a really good 30-29 game. Fortunately for the Packers, I don't think this will be a repeat of that game. A lot of things have changed since week 1. During the regular season, the Eagles defense has really gotten their feet under them behind Zach Braun and developed into one of the best units in the NFL, while their offense gaining continuity with Saquon. On the other hand, the Packers offense has been a bit shaky throughout the season, and they suffered a pretty bad loss last week against the Bears. When you add the injuries to Christian Watson and Jordan Love, I seriously doubt that this game will be as close as it was in week 1. They don't have the defense to slow down Saquon. Jared being out for the rest of the season makes it really hard for me to imagine them shutting down that passing game. And with the injuries, it's also going to be much harder to keep up with them. I think the Eagles win this one 30-20. I think the Packers have a 25% chance of winning. Broncos versus Bills. Now, it's not impossible for the Broncos to win this game. Maybe this elite defense could force a Josh Allen stinker, and Sean Payton could take advantage of the Bills' weak D, but outside of that, there's not a large window for the Broncos to pull this off. Josh Allen is easily a top 3 quarterback in the NFL, and there's no way you could expect them to shut him down. I also don't see Bo Nix keeping up with Allen at all. I have the Bills winning pretty handily. 24-17, I think the Broncos have a 10% chance of winning. Broncos versus the Commanders. I think this one will be the closest game of the wildcard round. To me, it's a toss-up. Both of these offenses are capable of putting up high numbers. The Commanders led by Jaden Daniels and the Bucks by Baker. They faced each other in week 1 and the Buccaneers won 23-7, but for obvious reasons, that isn't really relevant. Despite that, I trust the Bucks defense more than the Commanders. Todd Bowles being able to lead against an inexperienced Jaden Daniels really gives them an advantage. If I had to ask one of these units to make a stop, it'll be the Bucks. I have them winning 33-27. I think the Commanders have a 47% chance of winning. Ravens versus Steelers. Look, I know. The Steelers are on a 4-game losing streak. I know their offense has been putrid, and I know their Ds look susceptible at times. And I know the Ravens are humming on all cylinders. I know. I just can't feel comfortable picking the Ravens. Nothing ever goes normally between the Ravens and the Steelers. Every time they match up with each other, it just defies logic. I can see the Steelers somehow winning in a 12-10 slugfest. And with Zay Flowers out for that game, I really wouldn't be surprised if this Ravens offense puts up a stinker. But I don't know if I'll go far enough to just pick the Steelers outright. I think the Ravens will win, but it'll be very uncomfortable for them. I don't expect an easy walk in the park win for the Ravens at all. I'm predicting them to beat the Steelers 17-13. The Steelers have a 35-ish% chance of winning. Last one, Rams versus Vikings. This is a game that Sam Darnold could win himself hundreds of millions of dollars. Coming off of a stinker last game, it really put a lot of his future on what he does in this playoffs. Starting with this wild card matchup. The Rams defense is very beatable. Sam could easily perform well against them. The danger is their offense. Stafford, Puka, and Kupp could really dice up any defense in the league. Unfortunately for them, they've been inconsistent this year. There have been some games where they've completely just disappeared. I doubt this one would be a blowout, and I can see the Rams offense just completely overpowering the Vikings, like how they did when they first met up or against the Bills, but I have a really hard time believing that would happen. It's going to be close, but I'll put my money on the Vikings. They have a very potent passing game, and if Sam Darnold shows up, I really doubt that he'd have a hard time attacking this very susceptible Rams secondary. 27-24, Vikings got the win. I think the Rams have a 35% chance of winning.